Yep.
All right. Cheers, guys.
Cheers, Keith. Cheers, Tim.
Cheers, Keith.
I would have made something to drink, but we were setting up before this, so.
Yeah, we spent about like almost 2 hours on setup time, but fuck, this was a very arduous process. It's our first time like doing this, so Keith's halfway across the world in Singapore right now. So for those of you wondering, it's really difficult to do something like this where it's like a Zoom kind of ish meeting that we're doing on Google Meet. So again, I have a timer out here in front of me because for whatever reason, these cameras are limited to 30 minutes. Thanks, Canon, Nikon. But whatever, it is what it is. So what's going on? It's like, as you can see here, it's nighttime, but over there it's daytime.
Yeah, over here it is daytime. And one thing I'm looking forward to is the Manny Pacquiao fight. And while everybody's watching it at
I had no idea.
night,
Who's he fighting
I had
now?
no idea.
Yeah, me neither. Who's he fighting?
Errol Spence. And the guy's supposed to be really good. I like Errol Spence.
Okay.
Interesting.
Is he okay? Where is he coming from?
I
don't know.
USA.
Oh, so he's an American fighter.
Yeah.
Kind of like in the. Is he? I'm surprised. Like Manny, how old is Manny Pacquiao now?
He's like 40, 42.
40 plus.
God. He's just doing it for the money. Let's just be honest here. He's just doing it for the. Well, I mean, like, come on, 40 years old for a major athlete. That's like, for an athlete like that, like boxing, 40 years old is really like.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
At that point, do you think he's run down? Does he stand a chance?
Yeah, that's exactly it. It's just like, dude, is he really gonna be like competitive at that age, or is he really just doing this for the money?
He still looks pretty fast to me.
Let's
I
see.
saw his
Let's see where his
videos.
stamina is now.
Yeah. He still looks fast. You said?
Yeah, he still looks pretty fast to me. I saw his training videos.
I don't doubt
and
it.
it looks like he's sharper than ever. But then, as I practice martial arts myself, I was talking with my cousin, who's my lifetime coach in martial arts. And he said there's something called old fast, to where even though you might not be, you might not run as fast as a younger person, but just because you're so refined in your technique that you are old fast.
I see.
Interesting.
I see where I get it. Well, when's the fight? I'm just curious.
I don't know, I think it's August 21st. Whatever weekend
Late
of
August.
August 21st. So, like,
Nice.
he's got, like, oh, no. He should have been training a while ago now. He's got, like, 21 days.
Probably has
like
been.
30 weeks.
Maybe he's
He's
doing
probably
some
already
gains.
been training. And yeah, he's probably already been doing whatever,
Same weight class, I imagine. Right?
Well, what is his weight class? Like featherweight?
I think he's
No.
super welterweight.
Welterweight. Yeah, super welterweight. So that's like slightly
that's
heavier.
That's above?
Slightly heavier than welter? I forget.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, just slightly heavier.
Man.
Well, yeah. Well, anyway, I didn't even realize many. I mean, for those of you who don't know, we're Filipino. So we inherently have a vested interest in this, but I don't really care anymore. Like I cared when Manny Pacquiao was younger and more of an underdog, and nowadays it's like, it's like Pacquiao. I mean, he's cool and all, but it's just like, I'm just curious to see how the fight's gonna turn out, and there's no doubt in my mind I want to know what it's gonna turn out to be like, but I don't know. Like, it's kind of like the Olympic Games this year. To me, it's like been subpar.
Underwhelming.
Yeah, underwhelming. Like, I'm not really into the Olympics right now. Like I still think the 2008 Olympics were the best. That
was a great year.
That was a good year. I think Michael Phelps won that year.
Yes.
He won a lot, and Kobe was still in in basketball. I think it was like the Redeem Team or something. It could be 2008. I don't remember.
Phelps,
is that right?
Phelps 04 also.
Was it? Yeah. No, Phelps was 04, but he didn't win all like 8 golds. So I think he won 8 golds in 2008. I just think 2008 was good also because like China made it really look good.
Yeah. Well, backtrack to Filipino heritage. Was there not one power lifter? I forget what category, but that's cool. I see.
Philippines' first gold.
Yeah, I see some visibility, which is kind of nice.
Philippines' first gold came from like a powerlifting female First ever Olympic gold for the
There we go.
Philippines came this year. So that's
commendable.
pretty cool.
That's
you know,
cool. That's cool.
You know, I'm surprised the Philippines was even competing at all.
Yeah.
If they competed in billiards and that was a sport, they would have won. You know, but it's just funny because it's just like, damn, you wouldn't think that Philippines would be like, you know, in a major sport. Like powerlifting's a major sport.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I've never really power lifted. You know, nothing that crazy. You know, I'm friends with somebody who does. You know, but they're, you know, like they have a kid now and they have a family, so she is not as competitive as she used to be. But she admits that, you know, back in her day, she was pretty good. She actually did it for competition.
Oh my goodness.
I was talking with my dad last night,
Uh-huh.
and he was telling me that he didn't know that trampolining was an Olympic sport, and trampolining that's pretty dope. Because if you look at like the Olympic events, that the traditional Olympic events, kind of like what is it, floor gymnastics, and then rings, and then the pommel horse. Okay, that's cool and everything, but you introduce something like a trampoline to where they're like doing these super high acrobatics. That's pretty cool. Imagine like all the cool things you can do in that couple of seconds that you're in the air.
I didn't realize trampoline was also an Olympic sport. That's kind of weird.
Right. That is not a new addition. It has been around.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I didn't even know. How long has that been around? I'm curious.
I don't know, but the Olympics is making strides in adding new events. I inquired about video gaming this year, but apparently they didn't include it. But I know that was like a proposed addition.
So
Esports.
Maybe they considered it, but it's like,
They didn't even consider bowling to be an Olympic sport.
and now it is.
And no.
Oh.
It's not yet.
Not yet.
But skateboarding wasn't. I think it's the first year for skateboarding to be an Olympic sport.
Right. Not just X Games, but an actual Olympian. An Olympian.
Yeah, you're representing your country in skateboarding for whatever the heck. I don't even know how you judge that. Is it the same as like Tony Hawk?
Yeah. Tony Hawk
Pro Skater, or it's just like you gotta collect the fucking videotape and shit, and then the skate, do all these grinds and shit, do manuals, link tricks. I wonder if it's the same way.
Do as many tricks as you can whilst in the air.
Yeah. Like a fucking like 900 with a kickflip or some shit like that.
I remember those days, you guys.
Oh, and also
man.
my dad said that, because I asked him the question, what if you fall off the trampoline? I mean, like, you could very well die. And then he was like,
trampoline?
there are these guys who are standing by to put a white mattress or a white cushion underneath the trampolinist to make sure that they can land softly if in the event that they fall off the trampoline.
So, is trampolining? I'm curious, man. I gotta see videos of this. It's just funny. It's just like, I can't imagine trampolining as a sport. But then again, it's like you're doing like flips and shit. It's like ice skating, right? With ice skating, when you're doing ice skating, like you're going through the air and you're doing these like twirls and tricks and stuff like that. So I can imagine trampolining is something similar to that,
You
right?
mean the impact.
Yeah, so where like you're doing something like where you're spinning and you're doing like these triple axles or whatever the heck they're called. You know? You know what I mean? It'll be something like that. So I can't imagine, you know. But the Olympics are just, I think this year they've just been so underwhelming. There's like nobody in Japan right now because of COVID.
Right.
And, you know, a lot of these athletes, you know, what did you think about that Simone Biles thing? Didn't you hear about the Simone Biles thing? Where she quit because she was like too stressed or something like that. Mental health.
Like she was under so much duress that she's like, you know, screw it. I'll leave.
There's a few ways I look at this, right? On the one hand, I completely agree that mental health is very important. If you don't feel like you can handle it and you can't succumb to the pressure, that's fine. That's totally fine. You know, you can leave and do whatever the heck you want. I think she's already made her point. You know, like she's already been really freaking good. But that's, you know, and people will get on you for saying this. Or it's like, well, that's what separates the good from the great. You know, maybe she's just meant to be good and there's somebody greater who's not going to succumb to anything. it's just showing, like, her withdrawing, I think just shows vulnerability, but also that, there are people out there who will say, like, well, look at Michael Jordan, look at Tom Brady. Those guys are really great in their respective positions in their sport.
Yeah.
Who's to say they weren't stressed? I'm sure they came under a lot of pressure, to perform, but they just pulled on through. And look, it made them great as a result.
I mean, that's what. Now, Keith, feel free to chime in about being a professional, but also on the same token, being good at your job. When you have a job, whatever it might be, and I have some sort of cultural left turn in the conversation that I want to bring about in a minute, but. Say you're a musician, touring musician. I've told you guys this. I've told you this before, where when you're a touring musician, you are called upon delivering every tour night, every tour date. It doesn't matter what stuff you went through, the day prior, that afternoon. If it's showtime that evening, you're being paid, X amount of dollars per ticket sale, whatever 360 deal you have with the record label, all that money, you are paid to deliver. You can't bring any sort of personal. You leave it at the door. Leave it at the door, and then you're just you kind of have to channel your your artistry. Just be a professional. There's no room for that at that level. Now with people that have regular day jobs, I guess it's like, it's just a job. I'm not gonna. I'll half-ass it. I'll give 50% or whatever. And you guys have been to Japan. I have not been to Japan yet. I was supposed to 2020, spring 2020. That didn't happen, obviously, but. Culturally speaking, different cultures take their careers at different seriousness levels. And I think we've seen that the Japanese folk really take their jobs seriously.
Well,
professionals.
With Japan, since you alluded to that, I know this only because a friend tells me, because he lives there. Yeah. The Japanese people, they're like the other side of the spectrum. We're like, if we're on this side of the spectrum right here, where it's like, it's okay to feel stressed and not feel like you want to do your job, and it's like okay to quit. Versus like in Japan, it's kind of like the other side, where it's like it's not okay to quit. If you'd be a failure, you'd be like dishonorable or whatever. But the bad side to this end is that people, although they work really hard, feel mentally stressed beyond a point where they feel like life's not worth living. And they kill themselves, unfortunately.
Right.
The suicide rate is relatively high in Japan.
That's the extremity, though.
These people are working so much undocumented overtime that it's just so bad. Are
you saying it's really commonplace? It is.
Well, from what I understand.
I wonder what the stats are.
That's a good question. Versus over here, there's like a happy medium as usual. Everything's good in the middle when you have a little bit of both sides. Versus here in America now, it's like the common thing is like it's okay to quit and it's okay to be this. Some people take that to extreme, where they quit too much and they feel like society has to have an understanding where it's like it's okay. I want to quit and it's fine. You get nothing done.
Right.
You just become like another consumer and you don't produce anything for the world.
Yeah.
How's it over there, Keith?
Well, over here in Singapore, I'd say it's culturally different than where I've lived, obviously in the United States and in Japan. But, going back to that point about like using stress or, quitting because of stress, I think that's a muscle to exercise. When you're faced with a stressful situation, at least my default is you have to do it. You have to go through that stressful situation. Regardless of how you perform, like it's okay to be scared and stressed, but I think it's not okay to succumb to fear. And I think this was best put by Mr. Miyagi in the Karate Kid Part 3, I think. And, it's when Daniel LaRusso gets beat up by that bad boy, Billy the bad boy. I forgot what his character's name is. But you know how, like, he gets kicked in the ribs or something. And then, he's off to the side of the ring and he's like, "Oh, Mr. Miyagi, it's over. It's over. I can't do it." And then Mr. Miyagi puts it best saying, "It's okay to lose to opponent, must not lose to fear." Like, what words of wisdom is that?
Yeah.
That's actually really good. It's okay to lose to an opponent, but not to lose to fear.
Yeah. And then I really think maybe, someone should have someone like Mr. Miyagi to say, because like while Daniel LaRusso's like, "Oh no, I can't do it." He's all panicky and everything. Mr. Miyagi, he overrides him and he goes, "Hey!" And he goes, "Now you focus. The best karate still inside." See what few words he used to override all this like panic and whatever you would call it. If everybody had something like that to like kind of center them and say, "Hey, come on, center yourself. You can do it." I think people would quit less. Even if they lost, at least they saw it through.
That's so ideal. Obviously, these days there are so many distractions and so many other choices to make. Think of life as a multiple choice game, if you will, where you come to an obstacle. It's like, all right, I get to choose A through D, and it's like all the options are pretty okay. There's always going to be the best option. It's kind of like a easy way out versus going through the pain, letting that pain shape you, and then the other easy options where it's like, okay, I'm gonna come out of this unscathed, and then go through life normally. There's just so many options and distractions these days.
And
it's really difficult to know where people are at. I kind of see both sides where it's like, I understand that people get stressed and they don't feel like they want to do it anymore. And I like the idea that it's like, it's your choice if you want to quit. But like I've heard this from a video. I forget which video, but it's like, I've heard this from a video. It's like, if you want to quit, that's fine. Feel totally free to be mediocre.
Okay.
Damn.
Okay, that's a strong point.
And it's just kind of like, I can see that, but I can also understand that like not everybody's mental capacities are the same, or like if some people want to quit, they can totally quit and it's fine. Like,
right.
There shouldn't be any shame in quitting, but there also should be a lot of glory in not.
But don't you think that everything is training though? Because like if you feel like quitting, quitting is a muscle as well. If you get accustomed to quitting, then what other areas of your life will you quit on?
That's true to an extent. But again, not everybody's mental capacities are the same. Some people have mental chemical imbalances. Some people are just natural quitters. Well, they'll find every reason to quit. And again, it's like, dude, that's cool because if you want to quit, that leaves more room for the people who don't.
Okay.
We're just speaking as people who aren't really like super quitters or anything like that, where it's just like we try to find excuses for everything. I don't think we're those kind of people. So we only look at it from this point of view where it's just kind of like, all right, well, I don't want to look at it from this. I don't think I can handle what it takes to be an Olympic athlete. Just to put that out there. Look at me. I'm not really an Olympic-built athlete anyway. But the whole point here is just like, like not everybody's mental capacities are the same. But I see what you're saying, though, Keith, in that, like, it is something you train, But what if that's something she trained only up to a certain point where it's just kind of like, okay, that's, this is it. This is my limit. And I'm done.
Yeah, but the thing is, isn't your culminating event the Olympics? You spent all these years training only to not do it.
I mean, maybe she saw it in a light where it's like, I don't have to prove anything anymore. I already won the last Olympics. You know, what more is there for me? Maybe she wants to do something else, you know? Maybe she wants to, like, do something. Maybe she has, like, something else, like, you know, like, we have our day jobs, but we have an album, which, you know, buy it now if you want to support. It's on Spotify. I don't know.
Stream it now.
You know, but that's what we want to do. You know, like, it's like when I first became, you know, when I first had my real job, I wanted to do that, right? And I thought that was like, you know, it was really good. When I got out of school, I wanted to do that. But then it's just like as the time passed by, I just wanted to do something else because it wasn't really authentic to me. What if, I know this person's, like Simone Biles, probably been training her whole life for the Olympics. But it's like, what if she wants to do something else? You know, I've always said this before, and you guys have heard me say it before, where it's like, you only have time for what you have time for, right? Anybody who tells you I'm too busy, or I'm sick because of this, or I'm doing this because of that, it's like, no, you only have time for what you have time for. You will make time for the things you want to make time for. All right? There's no such thing as I'm too busy. Because if you want something to happen, you will make time for it. Maybe for her, she just has time for something else. Maybe that's just for her.
Yeah, you know, maybe as an Olympian and having that sort of social, I'm not going to say status, but as the spotlight has been shown on her, you know, the past 5+ years or whatever, you're sort of. You're obliged to, I was gonna say carry the torch. You're obliged to be a spokesperson for certain social issues, or you have to be with that celebrity status. You're sort of you have a task at hand. You are a spokesperson. So maybe she is. What issues was she speaking on? Was there anything pertinent?
I don't know to read either. The article.
I would have to.
I don't even know. I just know that she quit, and apparently the whole thing about it was that it was mental stress.
Just think of the level of celebrity too. Like maybe, you know, that's like a statement piece for her to.
I don't think I'm roasting her,
same.
for quitting. Like I'm just saying, like I don't see it as a bad thing that she quit.
Right.
I'm also not seeing it as a good thing because it's like she could have achieved more this Olympics. But that's what society wants, is they want to see greatness and they want to ridicule. It's just human nature, right? Human animalistic nature is just to kind of like praise the good and to fuck up the bad. I think they were talking about this in like, you know, bisons that get hunted by like lions or some shit, like animals that get hunted by lions.
Yeah.
It's just a herd mentality that if there's somebody that's like fucked up and going to slow down your herd, you fuck them up even more to the point where it's like, all right, the lions can have you and we'll be okay.
Yeah. Right.
You know, throw them to the wolves kind of mentality. I think that's just human nature in general. So it's like for us, for somebody to be like mediocre or who doesn't want to be like really good in the Olympics, we want to trash them and be like, oh, they're shit, they're whatever. We want to discount everything that they've done so far and just kind of throw them to the wolves, you know? I think it's just natural human nature to just kind of like fuck up people who want to be less than anything less than great.
Yeah. But I think in this case, I think people just look at the situation and just be like, hey, you were training for this for 4 or 5 years. And I say 5 years because, you know, we're delayed.
Oh, yeah, we delayed by 1 year.
And you've invested so much of your life into it. And now you're on the big stage and this is everything you've been training for. And then like maybe if you just found that last ounce of motivation in your emotional reservoir, maybe, you know, it would have turned out well for you. And then you can decide to quit afterwards, but at least you would have saw it through. But
I wonder if her coach knows more about that. Yeah. You know, people who know her more. We're at the very surface. We don't really know her, right? But I wonder if her coach really knows what's going on, you know, or maybe her. or maybe her parents or her family or whoever who's really close to her.
Yeah, but think about this
difficult to know.
situation. What if you translated this situation to basketball, and then the Lakers were in like Game 7 of the NBA Finals, and then LeBron or Anthony Davis says, "Oh, I can't do it." Imagine how many people would be pissed.
See, it'd be different, right? I think there's also a gender thing there going on too, Yeah, I can totally see it from that sense where it's just like, you were training all however many years for this event and you just decide to quit. But it's like, dude, if you just don't have what it takes, you don't have what it takes,
Oh, man, I subscribe to that so hard. If you either got it or you don't. I'm so big on that. That sounds semi-arrogant, where it seems like I'm shooting down people that work hard. Now, not discounting people that work hard. Like if you're not, if you don't have a natural knack for playing an instrument. Say you've worked really hard and now you play, you're at a level where okay, I sound like a professional, but you have to sort of nurture that natural, your skill set, whatever you're born with. That ties in with music. I don't mean to shut down people that are trying to learn music and they're not really getting it, but you either have it or you don't, And if you do, you have to nurture that. You have to, just nurture it, see where it goes.
So
yeah, totally.
I told this to Tim in our many conversations because he calls me all the time because we talk about business, and then those business calls easily turn into life philosophical calls.
Of course.
Right. But
yeah.
What was I going to say? Damn, I lost my train of thought already. It's probably because I haven't had any breakfast and it's early in the morning here.
Oh yeah, what time is it? What time is
it over there right now?
It's 12:15 p.m. But I woke up and I immediately started working on our project. But it'll come back to me. But what I did wanted to say is, so I woke up and immediately I just started working on our projects. And as you all know, we have a bunch of projects in the works. It's everything from setting up the equipment for this podcast. It's everything from setting up our website, thinking of new musical ideas, keeping proficient with our musical skills. But I don't know, this whole project or any project that I'm involved in, it kind of consumes me. And, as it consumes me, as I invest more and more into our projects, like there is no quitting, because I've invested a lot of stuff into this project, whether it be money for equipment, money for the information systems that we use, time and coordination. And like, I'm not going to let all that go to waste. And going back to the subject about quitting, maybe in the near term, it's like you'll think that it'll be the right solution to quit. But I think down the road, like I think everybody wonders, like, dang, what if I just stuck it out for just one more day or one more event? Like what greatness would have awaited for me?
It's hard to know right then and there, right?
Yeah.
Nobody can really fully predict the future because like you never know if it's going to be your last whatever, or your last gymnastics final, or your last Olympics,
your
or
last show,
your last game, your last show, your last whatever. Right. Speaking of last whatevers, I had somebody I used to work with. He was working at the place I used to work, and he was young guy, pretty much our age, our aggregate age altogether. Young guy, man. Really cool, true Angelino for LA, and I only found out like 3 days ago that he just passed away. Gone. He was our age. I don't think he had any major medical issues. Yeah, he was maybe in the hospital once or twice, but it's nothing like he wasn't taking care of himself. He was kind of sick, but not super sick. I think he died of a cardiac arrest, which sucks. at this age. We're like in our young 30s, aggregate. So for somebody to die of a cardiac arrest at this age, it's almost unheard of in modern medicine, And it just made me wonder, where it's like, dude, this guy was probably planning to wake up the next morning and do whatever it is that he wanted to do. Go to work or do this, and probably had plans further down the road. Like I have plans. Like I'm going to Hawaii for a wedding in a month and a half. And I plan to do a lot of things for the coming year. I have so many projects, and we obviously have our band and our music, like, and these podcasts. Like I have plans, man. If I realized that I would die tomorrow, would I act differently? Absolutely. I wouldn't quit on anything, So I think I've heard this like really important quote too, where it's like people give up what they can have in the future for what they can have now, because they either lack the foresight or they just want what they can see,
Yeah, the level of delaying gratitude is tough sometimes. Short-term gratification is soothing and it feels good. Whatever it might be, food, whatever. Yeah, that takes a lot of discipline. I would hope we get better at it as we get older.
I think discipline is the right word.
Yeah.
It's easier to be more disciplined the older you get. It's harder when you're younger. Because all you want to do is live for now, the more young you are, and when you get older, you realize that those days are getting numbered, and more out. So you start to like look at things differently, maybe for some people it's shorter than others, maybe for somebody who wants to not do the Olympics anymore, they feel like they don't really have a whole lot of life to live. And maybe they realize that they'd rather live their life doing something else different.
Yeah, I wonder what kind of side gigs she has.
That's what I'm thinking too.
Or what other things she's going to focus on. Like maybe she's just like, oh, my passion's not in Olympics anymore.
Yeah, maybe her passion's just not there.
Yeah.
I firmly believe that, again, like I said, you have time for what you have time for. If you're passionate about something, you will spend time on it and lose sleep over it and want to get it done. When an idea is so infectious that you don't want to let it go, I will argue that, she probably, her mind or heart or both is just not in the Olympics right now. It's somewhere else. Yeah. If it's on her and she wants to focus on her, I think that's cool. Hopefully she makes the best version of herself. She doesn't have to show the world.
Do you know at what point she pulled out from?
I don't know, but I think she was already in Tokyo.
Oh.
Like she was already there. She already touched ground. I think she already went through it, and I think she just decided to quit after that.
Man.
Yeah. Well, if she ever hears this podcast, just want to say we wish you the best in your future endeavors. And no one's judging you.
You did a lot for America already, I think.
Yeah.
You won gold for America. I think you did great. I can't even fucking qualify for the Olympics. For somebody like that to win gold in a sport and get these endorsements at this age, I think you did a great job. And because you decided to not do it anymore, that's cool. That's totally fine. I'm not calling you mediocre by any means or any stretch of the imagination. I think you did a great job.
It's commendable.
It's very commendable. It's okay. Let's not focus on her anymore. Let's not bring her down. Rather, those who still want to do it, let's just bring them up. Maybe now that because she's like the most hyped gymnast on the American side, maybe somebody else can rise and
she leaves a template, short legacy but a great one, obviously, for younger ones to follow. I mean, there's always a positive side for the top dog to step down and leave room.
I've always liked the 2008 Olympics also because the gymnasts were there was a lot of good ones. There was Shawn Johnson, she was really cute, and Nastia Liukin which I think was Russian in descent, but did gymnastics
Might
for
have
America.
to backtrack on those.
Yeah, I think they were both really cute. I remember me and my cousin my cousin from the Philippines was living here. He really liked them. I really liked them, and I was just like, wow, they're really cute. So I decided to we played Counter-Strike, so I would name myself like something like stupid, where it's like Nasty Liukian or something like that.
I'm going to
like
purposely
really
change the subject here. You said a word that keyed my focus. Speaking of endorsements, if any of you music equipment companies are listening to this, please endorse us.
Maybe they are.
Specifically DW, specifically Fender, Gibson.
That'd be nice. Hey, we are musicians, okay? So we love playing musical instruments and stuff. So naturally, we appreciate it. Like, as you can see, the backdrop here, is a semi DW kit. It has a DW cover, but
more on that later.
Yeah, more on that on another time. But we have a lot of instruments here. Jason, go ahead and whip out that Les Paul you have.
I've got
there.
quite a bit of gear here. Let's see if I can pull this
I mean,
off.
you're here joining us in our studio where we, where we make our music and we do all this stuff. But as you can see here, Jason, he has the Les Paul, from Gibson with P90s. Amazing guitar, really it is.
I love it.
We love equipment here. We love playing music. That's what we do. As somebody who does gymnastics to an Olympic level, I feel like we do music to somewhere where it's like really good too. Maybe not in an Olympic level. I don't know if music will ever make the Olympics, but there's music in the Olympics. We know that.
Yes.
So,
the point I made earlier was, we're as a professional musician, you're called to perform. You cannot bring outside influence. If you do, that's understandable. But I commend all the touring musicians out there, and we strive. The three of us strive for excellence in that regard. I suppose we'll be going on tour soon, if and when things open up. But
yeah, well, that remains to be seen nowadays because of everything that's going on. So we'll see.
There's a lot of aren't there music festivals still happening this summer?
Yeah,
this
they're
fall?
still happening. I would absolutely die if we just did a music festival, even if we were the first band up.
Even the little stage, the small stage.
Even the little stage, it's just like I just want to be like,
we hear us in the background. We're the small font
nobody's
band.
there except the really drunk people who
Small
think we
font
sound good.
in the bottom.
Well,
Point
I don't know
out.
if you guys checked our website recently, but there are some events that I booked us for. So,
Wow. No, well, look at that. Follow us, Indescendants.com. We have an Instagram too, We have a YouTube channel, which we're going to be putting this content on, and, our music videos and stuff. So
Coming soon.
Yeah.
We'll be working on more music as we go. Stay tuned, and follow us on social.
Man. But we have fun with what we do. I think music's what we do the best. I think I tackle a lot of things, where it's like I have a day job, obviously, and then
Likewise.
I have we all have day jobs, which, we'd rather not do, but we'd rather do music.
Not.
There's hobbies that I do, which are really fun, but I'd still rather do music, I do photography, videography on the side. That's really more just for fun and really just to kind of, if I could provide memories and stuff for people, I like that. But it
feels good.
It'd be nice to turn that into a really stable side gig, but it's not really the main thing. I still think music is the best thing that I have going for me. For me, it's the most authentic to me. Where it's just like, if all else fails, I'll still have this.
Yeah, what an art form. It's not now. Visual media is somewhat tangible. You see it with your two eyes. If you make a print, you can feel it, have a physical copy. But there's something about music where it's intangible. It'll make you feel things, emotions. Heighten and bring out emotions that you are already feeling or not feeling. We hope to do that. We have, let's see, we're hoping to make some more, fun songs. I know it's still summertime. some upbeat stuff.
Yeah.
You know.
We'll see. You know, like we don't force these things; they come to us when they come to us.
We never force it.
You know, and that's the reason why we didn't really have a whole lot. It's because we just let everything come naturally.
Well, think about all the songs that were out there that were forced creations. And think about the influences that caused those forced creations. Just for example, think about the dynamic between an artist and a record label. And I'm not trashing record labels because I think they provide a lot of value to artists who, can't do some things themselves, like build a website or, manage finances or provide resources
PR
that the
and
artist
whatnot.
simply doesn't have.
Yeah, exactly.
But, you think about that relationship between an artist and a record label. Like, can you imagine, like, if your agent or if you're a producer or the record label says, you only have 5 songs on your album. We need something that we can sell for $19.95. And people aren't going to buy an album with just 5 songs for $19.95. Like, can you come up with, 7 more songs? And can you imagine if you responded with, well, I don't have 7 more songs. And then, what kind of forced creation you're going to have to come up with? That's a pretty tough position to be in.
Yeah, no, seriously.
Not to mention the debt you'll be in.
Yeah, that's the thing about these record labels, right? Where it's like they got you by the balls. Where it's like it doesn't stop with getting paid and that's it. You make music. It's like you got to make music on their dime. And I was also thinking about this in a different light, where it's like there's some bands out there who or artists in general whose songs belong to the label.
Yeah.
So
yes,
I was thinking, I was watching this show called Top Gear, which is like a British motoring show.
That too,
yeah. So the thing with that British show is that they use a lot of copyrighted music, but they probably go through the right avenues and get the rights to the song, or at least be able to use the song, but pay the rights holders, which the right holders aren't even the artists. It's the freaking label, or it's like. They're the ones who see the money. Maybe the royalties get paid to the artist in a very small amount. But it's like, dude, the label's the one handling everything. And I get in trouble on Instagram for posting a video with a song that's copyrighted. And I bet you it's not even the band who's doing that. The band doesn't even know that I'm using it. It's the label. And the label will just choose to block my video or take it down or whatever. And they'll just be and I get it. I'm not trying to do anything illegal here. I never credit those songs as mine. But the fact that I'm using it is already bad news to them. So it's just all right, they want to see their money. They want to see that I paid them to use it. So.
Yep. And so, with what you just said, that awakens me to the fact that the music business is indeed that. It is a business. And,
it is a business. Yeah.
I can tell you for the last 4 weeks especially after our album release, which Jason, I think you did a fantastic job in producing. So that's a shameless plug for Jason, the music prodigy / music producer.
Big time.
Yeah. I will say that the music business is definitely a business, and I haven't touched my guitar for 4 weeks. And I continue to take lessons with my teacher, and I'm so ashamed to go to my lessons because I simply haven't practiced. And was it out of negligence? No, it was because I'm setting up the website, I'm setting up our bank accounts, I'm setting up our copyright stuff, I'm making sure we get our royalties paid, all these information systems that make our music business a business.
Yeah, exactly. We're on Instagram Music too, if you guys didn't know.
Yeah, that's a relatively new thing.
That's fucking dope.
It's cool to see lyrics pop up.
Just to see our lyrics pop up, and it's just dude, I feel like we're up there with regular artists who have cool. Their own lyrics and music. Honestly, I was like, dude, you could tag us. That's pretty dope. That's really cool, man. I like the way we did that. But it's really cool, man. So if we're going to have all this stuff coming out soon, merch and, all this kind of stuff. So it'll be really dope, really dope, really dope, really fun. Music's something we all do really, really well. So
I have not touched that drum set behind Tim. There's a drum set there. You might maybe on another shot, Tim's shot.
Maybe.
Yeah, see the peak.
We'll put video here of like you playing the drums.
Yeah, man, it's day jobs, but we're not going to complain. We're not going to talk shop. Complaining about the 9 to 5.
Yeah.
Well, that does have its value too, right? Because the 9 to 5 has given us that seed money to buy our resources, such as our
it has afforded me all this gear, in this
going to school and getting all these things done, doing the way the things your parents wanted them, thought that would be good for you. I'm not complaining that I have a day job. Would I rather do something else? Absolutely.
Right.
But it's just not the case. So it's just like, well, what are we going to do, or how are we going to do it? That's the kind of thing.
Yeah.
Well, I think if you go through that process of just gradually investing your time and resources into, like, let's say little investments, let's say a new audio interface, new camera equipment, right? I think you would have more appreciation for the process than if, like, you were just given a lump sum of money to invest, because you didn't have to, like, fight and claw your way to to obtaining these things. Like, I remember as a kid,
it becomes deserved.
Yeah. As a kid, I would work my student worker job during the summer in order to accumulate enough money just to buy cymbals. All I had at the time was just hi-hat and a ride cymbal. And like over time, over the course of how many years, I've accumulated a bunch of music equipment, which has brought us and helped us get to this point right now.
Yeah. Like your cymbal selection. Oh gosh. Keith, if you want to plug some brands in, go ahead and talk about your cymbal collection. If not,
so
there's something about mixing and matching, which again is music is there are rules, but there are almost no rules, especially in the musical instrument realm, where I can mix and match any piece of drum or any cymbal brand, have a hi-hat, the top cymbal. Hi-hat's the thing you step on. The top cymbal could be different from the bottom cymbal. You could have 2 top cymbals or 2 bottom cymbals, or you could just mix anything. I digress, but yeah, music, there are almost no rules. Anything goes. You can, whatever helps you create.
For cymbals, I will say that in December of 2020, when we really decided to invest into this project, Tim and we went to Sam Ash, and I bought a new drum set, but I also wanted new cymbals as well. And cymbals can definitely get expensive. And so we ended up buying a pair of Peisty Dark Energy hi-hats, which was, I think, like $600 for one pair of hi-hats. Then in a Meinl crash, or 2 Meinl crashes. One was a medium thin crash. Then the other one was a 21-inch polyphonic ride that we use as a crash. And then a Peisty splash cymbal, which wasn't cheap as well. And then a 24-inch Peisty giant beat ride. And like, you might ask the question, well, why did we mix brands? And that's because of what Jason was saying. There are no rules, and we picked the cymbals that sounded the best. And I guess going back to our original point, that was a significant investment. I think for those cymbals alone, not even the drum set or the heads or anything, it amounted to about like $1,900. So let that be an example of like the investment required in order to start a business like this.
Well, I hope that I think our band's main purpose here is to provide some real good value, to the world, or it's not just going to be about music and stuff. I mean, the music is a huge part of it, but, I'm hoping a podcast like this also kind of helps open people's minds and kind of points people in a certain direction, maybe just to kind of, maybe if they're already headed one way, it can steer them towards the right way.
Just check out perspectives.
It's all about perspectives.
Having different perspectives.
Yeah, exactly. And just kind of like, we all have ways of thinking and doing stuff where it's just kind of like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it allows for growth.
It allows for it allows people to grow and to kind of like look at this. Where it's like our band is more of a lifestyle than just about music. So that's what I want to do with this. I want our band to be more than just about music. So it's also about a lifestyle.
It's about perspectives. We want to, open people's minds and eyes to just thinking differently. Hopefully it'll help you out.
Just imagine the knowledge and wisdom we can impart on, let's say, a 15 or 16-year-old musician just trying to be a better musician. I remember as a 14, 15-year-old musician, in order to have some sort of tutelage, in order to be a good musician, you had to do it the old school way, which is like take lessons and find a really good teacher. But nowadays, you can just go on YouTube, you can listen to our podcast, and we can impart like some knowledge to a 15 or 16-year-old musician that we wish we had when we were younger.
Yeah. Yeah, no, totally. I mean, it's different also though nowadays. I feel like people are playing less music than they used to,
I was gonna allude to that.
Is that just me? I feel like music, people just don't play it anymore. Or if they do, they play it on their cell phone because you can.
But those that have an influx of ways to learn, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. The oversaturation on, let's just pinpoint YouTube, the number of tutorials on how to play the guitar, millions, billions.
Yeah.
Some credible, some not, some really crappy, some really good. You're gonna have to scour and find what you like, but there's just an oversaturation. Now, I'd say kids are playing less music. I can't tell you the number of. There are only a select few of kids that I know that are considering, I want to pick up the instrument. I want to learn the guitar. They much rather play video games on their phones.
It's difficult nowadays because you look at a production. You look at the production that it takes to make an album for like an artist. Like I'm not gonna name any artist particularly, but like
right.
Let's just imagine it's like a regular hip hop artist. Your producer and musician is the same person now.
That is
true. You can get everything done with one person. Now.
One person, one piece of equipment. It could be just a computer,
a laptop, or computer. It could be on like something as simple as like a Microsoft Surface. Or it's like obviously the Microsoft Surface is really a phone, an iPad, yes,
a tablet.
I feel like nowadays you can make an entire album off a phone. It's like you think about it, man. Like we made a pretty decent album with really good equipment. Obviously, we have guitars and stuff and recording interfaces and all that, like to get this done correctly and nicely. But look at somebody like Drake. If he made an album on a phone, people would just buy it. They don't give a shit. Where it's like, dude, see, like that's where, I mean, there's a lot of other things going on there, like social proofing. But the main point here is like, look at like somebody like Drake could make an album like that,
Right.
So it's just to me, it's just like, I think that's the reason why people don't want to pick up instruments nowadays is because they feel like, oh, well, if somebody like Drake can make music on their phone and there's auto-tune and all this stuff, because there was, no auto-tune back then. Like, I don't need to pick up an instrument and learn,
No, or, same token, why do I need to sing correctly or learn, take vocal lessons? That's one side tangent. But yeah, it's sort of devalued in a way the discipline aspect of learning an instrument. You can just learn casually. You could learn, after work. I'm just gonna go on YouTube on a tutorial and pick it up as a hobby. But maybe the level of seriousness has been dialed down quite a bit.
Well, I
which is
think
okay.
it's because sorry to interrupt, but I think it's because of the significant amount of time investment that goes into learning an instrument, right?
Right.
Like
I
you have
think
your
that's a
day
huge
job.
part of it too.
You have your day job and like you're tired from work and you have all these responsibilities, but like how are you going to carve out time to spend like an hour playing guitar? And you're a beginner and you feel like you're making no progress, and it's kind of hard to stick through. Whereas us, we kind of had the luxury of like starting young, where
Of time.
if we
When we were
wanted to
young.
practice
Right.
for
Right.
if we wanted to practice for 6 hours straight, we could. And that was kind of like the barrier to entry in order to get good at an instrument. It's just simply time. And
Right.
Yeah.
so
But you started when you were younger, when you did have time.
Now, as a young person, your ability to kind of be left in this sort of discovery mode where you're like everything and anything is opening your mind, and you find it impressive. You're in discovery mode. As a kid, as an adult, it's like, oh man, there's so many more responsibilities. Work, whatever. It's a time thing.
But think
At the
about
end of
like
the
the
day.
benefits of learning an instrument, though. It's not just you learning a skill, but look at all the other opportunities that are available to learning an instrument.
Oh, it's
I
an
can
outlet.
confidently say that we are really good friends because music brought us together. Like, I don't think anything else
I
would have brought
agree.
us together this close.
It's funny. Yeah, music is the reason why we all hang out and why we're all friends. I'll recall the first time that I actually met Keith. It wasn't actually because of music, but it was because of music that we became like even closer friends. I actually met Keith when I was running here in Panorama City. We were in a running class in high school. I was like a freshman in high school, and he was like a junior. And we came around the last corner of the block before they were done, and I think I managed to catch up to him. But we both like picked up and just like decided to like run really fast to the finish line. And I don't even remember who won, and it didn't even matter because all I remembered was we were just trying to outdo each other. We didn't even know each other at the time. That was the funny thing.
If I remember that experience correctly, it was like we were running. We were going past that last corner. And we see each other and we're looking at each other and we're like, are we racing? Are we doing this?
Yeah, dude.
Are we doing this? Are you trying to beat me? Okay, I guess it's on. So we start sprinting towards the end. And then like as we approached the finish line, we started giggling because we were thinking that same thing, saying like, hey, are we racing? And then when we crossed the finish line, we were giggling like little girls.
That was really fun, man. It was just like that was the first like ever interaction I had with Keith, like
that's
person
awesome.
to person. And, like it's funny. It's just like, dude. But then after that, we just knew like, oh, we play music, and we do this. It just kind of blossomed from there. Like we like all the same bands. We have the same mindset. We're just really good friends. And then, I got to know Jason in a similar way where it's just kind of like, I didn't even know that, when I was going in high school, I was hanging out with my friend James a lot and going to his house. But Jason's, he's younger than us. So like he was being babysat by James's aunt.
Yes.
So I didn't even know that he was there to know that we were like doing stuff way
Summer
back
04.
when.
These guys, Tim and James were playing video games, and I was just there hanging out and tag along. I think we may have played tennis or something.
Yeah, tennis. I think tennis is the big one.
That's a good summer, man.
Yeah,
no
man.
responsibilities, even for these guys at that age. So
yeah, but I mean, like music's what really brought us all together. Like we all, music for me has opened that doorway to like. I feel like it's changed my perspective in a lot of things. Where it's like music is a good creative outlet for me. Where it's
man. I hope you guys listening don't discount. Don't give up if you've already tried. Try to now. Obviously, don't give up. There might be some sort of physical pain involved. I mean, playing the guitar, at least playing an acoustic guitar, it's pretty taxing. But maybe you guys can help me out here. Like, what made you not want to give up? Like,
I personally like playing music because it's not always that you have now more so than ever that you have a Bluetooth speaker and you can play music anywhere.
Right.
But when I was learning music, there was really no other opportunity to play music in front of people. Like I'm talking about like speakers and stuff.
Yeah,
like,
right.
Like we didn't have Bluetooth speakers back then, so the only way you could hear music was to play it.
Oh,
And I liked
that's a big one, Tim.
providing that kind of value to people. Where it's like, you want to sing the song? All right, let's sing it. Or it's just like, we'll play.
Right.
Or that song, "Time of Your Life" by Green Day. It's like they always wanted to hear that, so they're all right, whatever, dude. And I think everybody also got tired of it, including
Real
myself. But the point was, it's like I like to play music because, let's be honest, I also wanted to play music because I wanted to get the girls.
Let me just tell you, man. I went to in high school. I brought the guitar over, to school one day, and then I was like, all right, let's get the girls. Let's see what happens. And all the guys started coming over, and the guys that were interested in music and wanted to learn guitar, I was like, dude, like, what chord is that? Or like, I was like, oh man, this is not working out. But select few girls came through.
A few of my girlfriends were because I knew how to play the guitar. That's the funny thing where it's like, a few of them were because like, oh, you know how to play this song? Oh, when you played this song, I really liked it. Or it's like, all right, cool. This was high school. Nowadays, it's much, like it doesn't work when you're an adult because people are over that shit. But I still like to play music, I'd love to impart that on a future generation, Music it's such an awesome thing because it's like, in a way, it's a universal language. Yes, we sing our songs in English, but like I like a lot of Japanese songs. I don't even know what the hell they're singing about, but I love the vibe. Where it's like when you hear something and it just makes you want to dance, or makes you feel sad, or makes you feel happy, whatever. You just seem to vibe with it, and it's like you don't even care what the words are, and that's what music is. It doesn't necessarily need the words.
But it's just
the way that it's just played.
When I lived in Japan, I remember one of the first bars I went to was this punk rock bar, and I didn't speak a lick of Japanese, but I know when a song came up where we were headbanging, it was some song. It might have been a Fall Out Boy song, I don't know, but
nice.
We were headbanging, and then like we were in arms. We were like, we were in arms, and then we were headbanging with me and just some random Japanese dude. And like I didn't know this person, but we were having a good time together, and I thought that was a great example of how music unites us, right? Like I didn't speak a lick of Japanese, but I was headbanging with them, and then
it's just like I see that more in Japan. Speaking of Japan, like on a side note, I've been to a music festival in Japan, and I've been to more music festivals here in the United States. The U.S.'s music festivals are just different. The culture is just different because here everybody's whipping out their phone and trying to get like a snippet of the band, saying that, hey, I'm at let's say Coachella or whatever. You remember back in the days when people would only do this, like have their lighters and shit. Like you remember those days where it's just like that was just kind of like an affirmation to the band, like we feel it, we vibe.
Yeah, it was a communal time to like.
Yeah, right.
Particularly with slow songs.
Yeah, like with slower songs
intimate,
or whatever.
Heartfelt songs. But yeah, that was a unifying thing to like, all right, let's sway our lighters. And
people, I think, in a way, the cell phone has become that when they tell you to turn the flashlights on. I know some bands have done that. And that's their modern day lighter. But I know a lot of these people aren't really into it. Because if you're really into the music, you wouldn't be whipping out your phone. If you were into anything, you wouldn't be whipping out your phone.
You'd just be engaged.
You'd be engaged in whatever it is you're doing. When I went to Japan, those people are purposely told by, I believe, the labels and subsequently the music festival to not whip out their phone. You're not allowed to whip it out. You're not allowed to record them. It is against a law or the law. Like you can't do that because they own the band. The record companies or the labels own the band, and therefore you can't just whip it out, you know, because that's their property.
Right.
Even if it is people, it's their
Right.
property. But that's a good thing. The bad thing is, yeah, you can't whip out your phone and share it with everyone. But that's actually a good thing. Because what does it do? I've seen these people without their phones just be so engaged,
So immersed,
in the music, so immersed, where it's just like, dude, they're moshing, they're like picking each other up, and this is Japan. If you drop your phone, you will get it back. If you drop your phone here in a music festival, it's gonna be like halfway across the world, or somebody's just gonna like unlock it and then just keep it for themselves.
Right, or just trash,
Or just trash it,
Yeah.
and just they don't give a fuck. Where it's like here, they don't do that, but in Japan, oh my god, they really, really care about everybody else. And those people are so into the music. Like as Keith has already said, you know, where he's like, yeah, dude, like I didn't even know the guy next to me. I don't speak a lick of Japanese, but I was vibing, dude. That's what Japan's music scene is. I don't know. I can't speak for anybody else other than California and maybe Nevada, because those are the real only music festivals that I've been to were here. And I just feel like they're like, compared to Japan, absolute trash because of the way people treat each other, you know, and the way that, you know, it just is. Like people in Japan line up to throw their trash away. Here they don't. They just leave their trash on the floor. And it's okay in this culture.
Yeah,
You know?
there's someone has a job to do post. I mean,
I guess
to
we,
pick up the
you know,
trash.
we give these people a job to clean up trash.
yeah, it's like it's their job,
know?
quote unquote. That's the line.
Well,
Oh,
I hear
man, so
people
it's
in
a-
Texas are nicer. From what Joe Rogan
In
says,
California?
people in Texas are really nice.
Well, I've never. Oh no, that's not true.
I've been to
actually
Houston.
Texas. I've been to San Antonio.
They seem pretty nice. Yeah,
I actually just saw a clip of Charles Barkley making fun of people of women from San Antonio. Have you ever heard of that?
no, why?
It's like on, what's the show that they're on? Charles Barkley and Shaq, and
TNT.
who's the other guys?
What
Is it on TNT? Whatever.
Yeah,
There's like
whatever
an
the sports
NBA
one
show
is.
where they're
Inside
all
the
together.
NBA Game Time.
Inside the NBA,
Inside,
and
yeah.
dude, freaking Charles Barkley loves to like talk shit about San
So
Antonio
funny.
women. I don't know why. He always calls them like really fat. There's a YouTube clip on it, and I just saw it this morning. I was like, dude, what the fuck? He always
Bang
like
on.
calling like San Antonio women really fat, and I thought it was really hilarious. But you know, somebody's gonna take offense to that. So
Yikes!
it's like,
Yeah.
I thought it was funny. I don't necessarily think that way because when I was in San Antonio, I hardly saw any really, really fat women. So,
Fair enough.
I mean, that's all Charles Barkley, not me. But I still thought it was funny. I mean, can we laugh at some jokes at least?
Yeah, come on now.
It's a joke. Even he says it was a joke.
Yes,
it wasn't
yes.
really serious.
Clarification.
You know,
Oh.
like our world's too sensitive nowadays.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I remember, going back to the subject of music,
Yeah.
I remember one of my first music teachers, he saw me be so hard on myself whenever I messed up a part in the song. Like, I would think it's the end of the world as a 15 or 16-year-old song. Like, let's say I missed a snare backbeat, or I was off beat, and I just messed up. And then I'd be so hard on myself. But then he would say, hey, man, like, everybody messes up, and just learn to laugh at yourself. And I guess you can draw that analogy to
True.
real life. Whenever something's messed up, you know, whether you're fat or whatever, right? Just learn to laugh at yourself. Like, it is what it is. Like,
It is what it is. I think you should just have fun with anything you do. You know, like you can't take everything way too seriously. Otherwise, it's just gonna like end up hurting you in the long run, causing too much stress. I think some things are meant to be, some things aren't. You know, you can't go forcing something if it's just not right. Billy Joel, Armstrong, Green Day when I come around. But anyway, yeah, it's true though, right? Where it's just like, dude, if it's not right, don't take it too seriously because when you take things too seriously, you just get too attached to outcomes, and when you get too attached to outcomes, you just start to care so much about it.
Yeah.
And
Or
it
you
just
set the
ruins
expectations too high or whatever.
You set your yeah. It's just like, dude, don't worry about it, man. Just
Yeah.
have fun doing what you're doing. Stay lighthearted. Stay aloof. Take some things seriously, but not everything.
Yeah.
You know.
so one situation where I learned to laugh at myself was, I remember I was really into weightlifting, and I had gained a significant amount of weight. Some was muscle, but then some was also fat too. And then I remember when I started up my Muay Thai study again, like I was on the pads with Nango Gayanghadao, who is currently the Bantamweight 1 Championship Muay Thai champion. So I was on the pads with him, and I was like really slow and winded. And it's because I was like big and fat. And, you know, as I wasn't, he worked me so hard that I couldn't even throw a kick anymore. And he was like, come on, come on. But knowing what I know in my older age and citing that example of not killing myself when I mess up a music part when I was younger, you know, I just learned to laugh at myself. Like, yeah, I'm a fat, slow guy right now, and that's what it is. So, and being a fat, slow guy made me not be able to perform well, and that's okay at the time, you know, like, even though I'm a fat, slow guy right now, I'll be better tomorrow. And today I will laugh at myself, but tomorrow I will work to not be that fat, slow guy.
Just as long as you make progress for yourself and make, you know, tomorrow better than in yesterday, I think that's the takeaway here, is that, you know, don't make the problems of yesterday weigh you down today and tomorrow.
Yeah.
Just learn to like let it go. Laughing at yourself is a form of just letting it go. Or it's just like, dude, don't worry about it. You know, like, yeah, you know, you took an L today. Maybe you've been taking L's for a while, but that doesn't mean you should take L's forever. You know, you find a way. Adversity is an opportunity for change.
Learning experience.
Learn and find ways to make it work for you in a way that makes it happy. Whether that's your mindset or your environment or whatever, find a way to make it work. That should be our takeaway, you know?
Imagine
for this podcast.
Just imagine like how the world would be a better place if we just learned to laugh at ourselves and not take it so seriously. Because I don't know, every time I'm on social media, I'm always seeing some sort of propaganda of why we should hate each other.
I know.
Jeez.
A story for another time.
Man, I'm guilty of taking myself seriously, a little too much sometimes. Even I was gonna bring up work, not work specifically, but when you. It's easy to do so when you take pride in your work, and that's okay to be proud in that regard because you want to deliver excellence. But
of course,
when mistakes happen, obviously,
yeah, man,
mistakes happen. It's a human, it's a human function to fall to error. You know,
yeah,
that's okay.
Well, if you think about the beginning of time, like we've been like at war with each other. Humans have like been at war with each other. It's not even just humans, right? Like animals kill each other.
Yeah.
As Arnold would say in Terminator 2, it's in your nature to destroy yourselves.
Kind of is. You know, kind of is. But, I mean, you know, that's what separates us from the animals is that we learn compassion, you know. It's why it's so important. You know, it's what separates us from them.
You know, these days there's a lack of it, and we're hoping that the perspectives we bring in this podcast will kind of open you listeners to, what's the word I'm looking for here? Maybe you guys can help me out because I'm a bit tired this evening, but perspectives, like human nature has sort of taken, you know, a course where we don't look out for each other so much. We're quick to judge. This sort of hypersensitivity, this hypersensitive times lead us to not speak on issues, but and not speak up. But you know, we should
like
be helping
even
each
during
other
this
out.
podcast, like there were a couple of topics that we had discussed, and I'm just like, oh dang, like what am I going to receive some flack for like talking about? And I don't remember saying anything egregious, but I just feel like some of it would be taken out of context. Maybe a snippet would be cut, and then, you know, that snippet would label me to be like someone who I'm truly not.
Sure. I mean, again, we're not perfect, guys. We're not.
Yeah, we're not perfect, but You know, we do the best that we can here, just to kind of like show that we're just human. You know, we all have thoughts, we all have processes here, and we're not trying to upset anyone here. This is just how we think, and I don't think we're hurting anybody necessarily.
Right.
But we're really just trying to let you guys know how we think. But you know,
and
anyway,
we appreciate you listening to our
we
thought
appreciate
process.
you listening. Since we gotta wrap this up in about 2 minutes. So, any final thoughts, guys, before we end? You know, buy our album. We're on Spotify.
Stay tuned for more.
Yeah,
we've got a lot
for more.
cooking,
We're gonna
guys.
have more. We'll have more podcasts along the way. You know,
A lot of content.
Yeah.
that kind of stuff.
We'll have a lot of content coming your way. And it's not just a plug to get you to buy our stuff, but we feel like the stuff we will put out will definitely provide a lot of value. One of the ideas that I had was, giving guitar lessons or drum lessons via the Indescendants, brand. And we feel like if you are that person looking to learn an instrument or be immersed into the music or be introduced to the music world, I think we can guide you through that, and we can provide a lot of value to not only listening to good music, but also if you want to get started in playing an instrument and being a part of the music world, we can help you with that too.
All right, man. Well, if you want to reach out to us and learn some music, that'd be really cool. Let us know if that works out for you. But yeah, man, we'll wrap up this podcast now. Fun talking to you guys.
Thanks for listening, guys.
Thanks for listening.
Wherever
if you
you
made
are.
it this far, thanks for listening this far. Let us know that you listened this far. Put a comment or whatever. Say, hey, I got this far. ...
Timestamp.
But yeah,
Thank you,
man.
guys. We appreciate
Thanks
you.
for everything, you guys. And thanks, Keith, for joining us all the way from Singapore.
Thanks, Keith.
All right, guys. We'll wrap it up. Thanks, man. All right, later.
Have a good one, guys.
Lates.
If you like this video, then subscribe to our channel right now. Just hit the subscribe button below to stay up to date on all Indescendants content.